Ghost That Wouldn't Die. Interesting title. The ghost already dead? I don't know. But definitely some food for thought just with the title itself. Anyway, a title that you guys might not recognize, so I'll do some explaining here, but I'll start here with a real quick IMDb plot. Plagued rock star Devin Crane struggles to navigate her deadly affliction on tour. All right, so um, this is a short film, so that might be why some of you might not be familiar with what's happening here. So this is a new film that was sent to me, so this is a screener review. So we'll try to keep this fairly spoiler free. Um, Maybe a little bit of twist kind of in this story. Um, but this is a film that is kind of headed its way to some film festivals here shortly. Again, another reason to kind of keep this kind of spoiler free and so forth. Um, but also a film, I think at the end of the day, after watching it, I think, might do, pretty well in festivals just because of kind of, the story to be told kind of behind it. Now, uh, again, even more for you guys that might not be too familiar, this is a kind of a story that kind of started and based off a movie called Morbid Colors, and the writer director that has sent me that film along with some of the short follow ups from that, and this is kind of the same universe. So again, if maybe you haven't followed the entire thing, maybe it won't make 100% sense to you. But I think even if you've not seen any of those movies, this is something that's very kind of standalone as it is, and that's because again of the topic here, or kind of what the film kind of covers here, and I think that's another reason why I think it will probably do well in festivals is because yeah, it is horror related. There is horror centered around horror, um, but also there's a kind of a message here, and it is about addiction and being addicted to stuff, and trying to fight that, and so forth. Um, so I think the combination of horror here with that kind of message here, and it's not jammed down your throat or anything like that, but just another reminder of the struggles of addiction, and it could be anything. Obviously, the character here has a specific addiction and stuff that she's fighting. But this can be reflective on a number of things for anybody out there who's struggled with addiction. So I think for that kind of reasons, besides the film itself, it will do well in festivals, and I think some festivals will want to kind of show it. So, kind of a little bit of what's going on here without, giving too much away. Yeah, you have here this woman. She is part of a rock band, which is kind of an interesting kind of thing to be in here. But again, she's kind of felt, like she's broken away, and she's in a good space. Uh, but, as this starts to go on, she's kind of sucked back into it, and she kind of felt that she had been able to break out of it and was in a good spot, um, but is being, as the short film kind of goes on, is being pulled more and more back into um, whatever she's addicted to. I'm trying to keep that out and not get too much into that, so you guys who eventually will see it will have something to see. um, the film has done kind of a couple of interesting other things about the film. One, it is definitely, most of it is in black and white, which is really good. A good kind of technique here, kind of goes along with kind of the messaging here. The movie is addiction is a strong bad thing, and so forth, and having it in black and white kind of just adds to a little bit of the seriousness of the matter and so forth, with it, and kind of just adds a little bit more, I don't know, power to it, as opposed to it's something that is in color and that we are always kind of always seeing. Um, the story is also done a little bit differently, where there's not much dialogue at all. Most of the talking in the film is from the perspective of Devin here, and as the scenes are going on, she's kind of talking about the scenes that she's in and how she's feeling, and again, seeing how she's dealing with the addiction and fighting it within those scenes of what's going on in her life. So we do see some life moments, some moments with people who are in her life, moments of when she's with the band and so forth, and then and she's kind of talking about how she's feeling in those moments, and then obviously how she's feeling as regard to her addiction, what she's trying to fight and so forth. So again, another kind of different angle, something different that we don't get to see, films that are often narrated all the way through. Obviously, it helps that it's a short film, so you can kind of cover your bases there, and I think again, it just adds to it and adds a little bit more power to the message, and to kind of almost giving really diving into the character and giving a person's take on what they're feeling as they're fighting this, as opposed to just putting them in the scene and kind of having that dialogue back and forth, which would be outside of that, because she's while some of the people around her might know that she's struggling, that's not necessarily the something they're going to talk about all the time. So while there's scenes with her band or whatever, if they were playing that dialogue out, it might just be about what songs they're playing, or this or that, or how they're doing as a band, and so forth, or but instead we're getting her thoughts and what she's feeling in the moment, and that just makes it different and more powerful as far as the overall message of what's happening here. Like I said, I can assure you that it is horror themed. There is horror in it. You'll get a quick kind of glance of it early on, and then I think at the end of the movie you get a little bit bigger dose of it to kind of hammer the point away, and you'll see what her addiction is, and definitely comes is kind of in a horror way, I should say. Again, I'm being vague and not getting into it. For you guys who eventually see this in film festivals and so forth, you'll see more about the horror angle of the film. But I can assure you it's there. Is it overwhelming? No. This is not true crime. This is not a slasher. Not maybe some of the other stuff that you'll typically see. Like I said, some of the things I said, I think you see this film done a little bit different, in their own kind of different way, and but definitely hammering home a message. And like I said, if you are familiar with the writer director and kind of the story, and you've seen some of the previous things, this is a little bit of a continuation, so you might have some hint of where this is going or what to expect, but again, if you have not seen any of that, I think you can still kind of pick this up and really see this on its own. And like I said, I think this will do well in festivals, just because of the messaging, and because of the black and white, and because of the narrative and whatever. It just seems like it will fit well with many of the festivals out there. So certainly, if you're out there going to festivals later this year, definitely be on the lookout for this one. I put up a short, quick press release with some basic information about the film on Promote Horror. I will try to remember to put that link down below, so you can get a little bit more information about the short. And I've encouraged them to kind of keep me updated on festivals and so forth. So hopefully, if that news comes, we can kind of share that through Promote Horror, and maybe you'll be at a festival that you're at, and who knows, maybe it'll be on YouTube or whatever down the road. We'll see. So maybe you guys can catch it at some point, one way or the other. I do encourage you to look up the writer director here, maybe catch some of his other stuff in the meantime. and I believe I've reviewed some of those things as well. So you can definitely search the blog for those things as well. So kind of hard. Yeah, I don't really want to go out and give a pool of blood rating on short films. It is really hard in a short matter and so forth. But like I said, I think maybe if you're interested in the topic matter here that I was talking about and about the film, what it is about, and so forth, maybe it is something for you. Maybe if you're into maybe black and white short films and so forth, it again might be for you. But definitely, certainly worth the watch. And it's a very good take on the seriousness of the matter, with a take, and wrapping it up in the horror world. And like I said, I can assure you there's a horror thing involved here. It is not just addictive, a whole message about addiction and so forth. Yeah, with that, we'll wrap this up at horrorsgoryreviews.blogspot.com, so you can find all my reviews written in video. Certainly mostly video reviews for a while now, so you can like and subscribe and do everything everybody wants you to do here on YouTube. If not, is okay. I thank you for your time regardless. Twitter, Facebook, information down below. Feel free to reach out if you're looking for information about more about this film, other reviews and so forth, horror you want to talk. And definitely in the comments section, if you need more information about the film, feel free to ask down there, and if I can provide it, I will. So with that, I'll catch you on the next review, horror fans.